Then Hrothgar was given success in warfare, glory in battle, so that his retainers gladly obeyed him, and their company grew into a great band of warriors. It came to his mind that he would command men to construct a hall, a great mead building, that the children of men should hear of forever. And therein he would give to young and old all that God had given him, except for common land and men's bodies. Then I have heard that the work was laid upon many nations wide through this middle earth, that they should adorn the folk hall. In time it came to pass quickly as men counted, that it was finished, the largest of hall dwellings. He gave it the name of Heorot, he who ruled wide with his words. He did not forget his promise. At the feast he gave out rings, treasure. The hall stood tall, high and wide-gabled. It would wait for the fierce flames of a vengeful fire. The time was not yet at hand for sword hate between son-in-law and father-in-law to awaken after murderous rage. Then the fierce spirit painfully endured hardship for a time. He who dwelt in the darkness, for every day he heard loud mirth in the hall. There was the sound of the harp, the clear song of the scop. There he spoke who could relate the beginning of men. Far back in time said that the Almighty made earth a bright field fair in the water that surrounds it, set up in triumph the lights of the sun and the moons to lighten land dwellers, and adorn the surfaces of the earth with branches and leaves. Created also life for each of the kinds that move and breathe. Thus these warriors lived in joy, blessed, until one began to do evil deeds. A hellish enemy, the grim spirit, was called Grendel. Known as a rover of the borders, one who held the moors, fen, and fastness. Unhappy creature, he lived for a time in the home of the monsters' race, after God had condemned them as kin of Cain. The eternal Lord avenged the murder in which he slew Abel. Cain had no pleasure in that feud, but he banished him far from mankind, the ruler for that misdeed. From him sprang all bad breeds, trolls and elves and monsters, likewise the giants, who for a long time strove with God. He paid them their reward for that. Then, after night came, Grendel went to survey the tall hall. How, after their beer-drinking, the Ring-Danes had disposed themselves in it. Then he found therein a band of nobles asleep after the feast. They felt no sorrow, no misery of men. The creature of evil, grim and fierce, was quickly ready, savage and cruel, and seized from their rest 30 thanes. From there he turned to go back to his home, proud of his plunder, sought his dwelling with that store of slaughter. Then in the first light of dawning day, Grendel's war strength was revealed to men. Then after the feast, weeping arose, great cry in the morning. The famous king, hero of old days, sat joyless, and the mighty one suffered, felt sorrow for his thanes. When they saw the track of the foe, of the cursed spirit, that hardship was too strong, too loathsome and long-lasting. Nor was there a longer interval, but after one night Grendel again did greater slaughter, and had no remorse for it. Vengeful acts and wicked, he was too intent on them. Thereafter it was easy to find the man who sought rest for himself elsewhere, farther away, a bed among the outlying buildings, after it was made clear to him, told by clear proof, the hatred of him who now controlled the hall. Whoever escaped the foe held himself afterwards farther off and more safely. Thus Grendel held sway and fought against right, one against all, until the best of the houses stood empty. It was a long time, the length of 12 winters, that the lord of the Scyldings suffered grief, all woes, great sorrows. Therefore, sadly, in songs, it became well known to the children of men that Grendel had fought a long time with Hrothgar, for many half years maintained mortal spite, feud and enmity, constant war. He wanted no peace with any of the men of the Danish host, would not withdraw his deadly rancor or pay compensation. No counselor there had any reason to expect splendid repayment at the hands of the slayer. For the monster was relentless. The dark death shadow against warriors, old and young, lay in wait and ambushed them. In the perpetual darkness he held to the misty moors. Men do not know where hell demons direct their footsteps. Thus many crimes the enemy of mankind committed. The terrible walker alone, cruel injuries one after another. In the dark nights he dwelt in Heorot, the richly adorned hall. He might not approach the throne, receive treasure because of the Lord. He had no love for him. This was great misery to the lord of the Scyldings, a breaking spirit. Many a noble sat often in council, sought a plan, what would be best for strong-hearted men to do against the awful attacks. At times they vowed sacrifices at heathen temples, with their words prayed that the soul-slayer would give help for the distress of the people. Such was their custom, the hope of heathens. In their spirits they thought of hell. They knew not the ruler, the judge of deeds. They recognized not the Lord God, nor indeed did they know how to praise the protector of heaven, the glorious King. Woe is to him who, in terrible trouble, must thrust his soul into the fire's embrace. Hope for no comfort, not expect change. Well is the man who after his death day may seek the Lord and find peace in the embrace of the Father.